Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
80 میلیون دلار از طرف ملت بزرگ ایران آتش به اختیار بهش هدیه خواهیم داد. اگر موافقید با تکبیر موافقتتون اعلام کنید.
Woo! That's Iran putting an $80 million price on the head of our president. And doing it through crowdsourcing and funding. It's like, as everybody chips in a buck, $80 million. $80 million. That's it. Everybody got chip in a buck, though. Right? We're not doing this on our own. All that money they sent us, we spent it all. Right? We spent it all. You guys don't need to know it, but we got you guys something really good, but you're not going to get it for a while. Right? We got you guys a bunch of bombs that we gave to other people to bomb stuff. So, for Soleimani being blown up by this president, $80 million. But we got to all chip in a buck. Everybody, right? Everybody. Hilarious. So funny. They're crowdsourcing it. Everybody got a chip in a buck. Oh, man, they want us to pay for it? Goodness me. Welcome to the crazy world. Isn't it nuts, right? Like, that's where we are, right? For all the insanity, that is where we are. But, Chad, I can't believe he did it. Why? Why can't you believe he did it? Like, isn't this what presidents are supposed to? Well, it's just we're going to start World War III. I saw that trending. And I was thinking to myself, are you nuts? Are you guys crazy? Now, would I like to see some information of whether or not he was truly a threat as far as an imminent threat at that moment in time? I think it's fair to ask that question. Absolutely. Is he an awful, horrible human being that has the blood of not just tens of thousands, but hundreds of thousands of people, including many Americans' lives, on his hands? Absolutely. 110%.
His hands bore the blood of more American service members than anyone else alive.
Yeah. That's real. That's truthful. So Soleimani, and the way that the left, and in particular, not just the lunacy of, the likes of Michael Moore, and today you had, what's his name, George Lopez saying, hey, you know what, $80 million, we'll do it for half that price, or God, just the insanity of Rose McGowan and stuff. All of that aside, even the people who represent our country at the highest levels, we should absolutely question our leaders. I got zero problems with questioning them. The way, though, that this is where we are, the left, just insanity. It was nuts. And some of my friends were absolutely guilty by it. I mean, people I love, people I've grown up with, are like posting stuff that I'm like, dude, come on, let's just. And and we're going to talk a bit about, just listening to the likes of Michael Moore.
I want to make a request, and I do this with, again, all sense of humility and respect, and understanding that I, as an American citizen, am the last one that really anybody should listen to in your country or around the world, considering our behavior. Not just this, all the other things we've done to you. I would like to ask you, as much as you have the right to, I would like to ask you, the leadership of the country of Iran, to not respond with violence against the United States for what the United States has done to you this week.
Oh, my Lord. Look, we should question, absolutely question, continue to question our leaders across the board, period, case closed. That's stupid. If you don't do that, you're an idiot. Right? We should always question our leaders. Right? We have every right to know, hey, what is going on? What is happening? What is happening here? What are you guys doing? My big issue is the fact that you guys are such absolute asshats and so ridiculous. And if you guys are really nice, and maybe you guys won't settle down, right? Settle down. He went on, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. He wanted to talk about how we should have been more like the Canadians and just waited the British out. How dare we do something like that? My goodness me. I'll say this, right? I thought Team America World Police was a joke and not a puppet movie. That was just, it's real. It's real. This was a bad dude. Do I think that the world's safer? No. Did I think that the world's a bad place and scary and World War III is coming? No. Do I think that this guy was an awful human being and he lived by the sword and eventually, I think he's probably surprised he survived this long. Because let me tell you something. There were many other countries and many other groups out there that would love to have this guy's head. Right? We'll see what this does. One thing's for sure. I mean, even on his Wikipedia, right? They call him the Rommel, Germany, General Rommel, of the Middle East and Iran. Like, this guy was the architect of many bad things, proxy wars. But can I just, please don't hurt us. Please don't. Just, jeez. Settle down there. My goodness me. Hope you had a good Christmas and New Year. Fantastic. Enjoyed. Relaxed. Had a great time. Needed to get away from the craziness. I was telling the guys, even when it happened, I was like, that's a bad dude. Probably needed to go. He needed to go a while ago. But Bush and Obama kind of ignored him, right? They did, Somebody tweeted at me this weekend, he fought ISIS. And I said, well, and he was a big part of the reason that ISIS rose the way it did. So he fought it for his own. It wasn't like because he knew ISIS would come for Iran when they had a chance, but he also wanted to make sure that Syria was taken care of, at least Bashar al-Assad was protected, right, and his rebels. So, let's just, again, before everybody's made this, I was waiting for, some sort of posthumous thing last night at the Golden Globes, right? Just them, coming out. Just saying, I'm accepting this award on behalf of a great leader, General Soleimani, who was killed by this evil regime. So insane. Do you think they sit over there and laugh at us and think, are you guys? There are many Iranians in this country who have a smile on their face today because that guy's gone. There are many other people around the globe, country-wise, that we are allies with, that behind the scenes are like, that's a bad dude. I'm glad he's gone. Yeah, that guy's bad. He's real bad. And he was. Golden Globes last night. Man, Ricky Gervais was brutal. Talk about a guy who does not care.
I mean, Kevin Hart was fired from the Oscars because of some offensive tweets. Hello? Lucky for me, the Hollywood Foreign Press can barely speak English. And they've no idea what Twitter is. But tonight isn't just about the people in front of the camera. In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world. People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you.
He crushed them all. He did. He went after them. And this was as telling as it gets because, and like you said, it's my fifth time. And I think he just went out there and thought, I'm going to say the most horrific things because, and that's what you do in comedy, right? You go to a line and you push yourself a little bit further. And to him last night, he was going to roast them. And that's what he did. He wanted to see how far he could go to make them feel uncomfortable. And when it got to the point where it was uncomfortable, then he's like, all right, now that I know where you guys are, I'm going to keep going. The look on Tom Hanks's face was absolutely fantastic.
So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and...
I like it. Oh, my goodness. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Greta Thunberg. I tweeted something earlier. Is this not the greatest place in the world, Producer Phil, that there is a Twitter battle going on between 17-year-old Greta Thunberg and 70-year-old rocker Meatloaf?
That's hysterical.
I just have to tell you, Greta, he would do anything for love, but he won't do that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Text the program as well. Good to hear from you. Raycons, baby. Man, my little brother got some ear bud thingies, my bobbers, things. And they were just useless, right? Got the Staminol. And it's, oh, look at and he's like, well, can I try yours? And I was like, yeah. And he put him in. He's like, these are amazing. Now give them back. Right? I don't trust you, little turd. They're amazing. Raycons are incredible. Today's your lucky day. Right now, Raycons just released the absolute best of the best of the best. They got the new E25s. 6 hours of playtime, lots of bass, Bluetooth pairing, quickly, boom, seamless, compact design, noise isolating fit. You're going to love it. Comfortable and cool. Ray J put these things together the right way. Snoop Dogg, Cardi B, they love them. You'll love them as well. Now you can save big. 15% off right now. You swung and missed, or maybe you didn't get the ones you wanted for the holidays. Now's your chance. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
ABC News has learned Harvey Weinstein is charged in Los Angeles with rape and other sex crimes. The charges come as Weinstein is about to stand trial here in New York on rape and forcible sexual assault charges. The Los Angeles County District Attorney had started a special investigation into sex assault in the entertainment industry after the allegations against Weinstein first came into public view. Prosecutors had been looking at accusations from 8 women in L.A. and Beverly Hills.
Yeah. He's going to jail. He's such a scumbag. Well, Chad, it's not very nice. You say that. No, it's not. It's not very nice. And we will wait. He's innocent until proven guilty, right? Yeah, I think that's fair to say. He's innocent until proven guilty. You still think somebody's a scumbag, even if they've not, quote unquote, committed a crime, and we will find out if there's going to be something. Because he is starting his trial in New York, and they're trying to figure out how that's going to go at this moment in time. Because, well, obviously there's some issues, one of which is, is people already made up their mind.
Harvey Weinstein entered court with the assistance of a walker. He uttered his name and he scribbled notes during the proceeding. Prosecutors declared themselves ready to try this case, and they asked the defense to stop saying disparaging things about some of the women who will testify. The defense said, I have not degraded anyone, and accused prosecutors of wanting everyone to convict Weinstein before the trial even begins. The judge told the lawyers to leave the witnesses alone.
Yeah, everybody shush. One of the things I'm worried about, though, is in both New York and Los Angeles, the pool that you're going to pull from jury-wise, chances are they all know who he is. And there's a good chance that people have already made up some sort of mind when it comes to, like, I couldn't sit on that. I couldn't. It'd be tough, right? It would be tough. And it'd be tough not just for the, let's just say, the thing that we're looking at. So they give you, hey, this is what we're trying you on. Well, I don't know anything about this case, but what I do know is there's 80 other ones hanging over your head in some way, shape, or form, whether they're civil or criminal. So it's hard to, and you've got to be able to compartmentalize those things when you're deciding something is vitally important, like a person's life and the potential this person to spend the rest of his life in prison. That's a tough thing to do. Maybe they should move it somewhere else. Just, I don't know, somewhere else. And that's what I think that they're going to go for eventually. They're going to say he's not going to get a fair trial here. So we're going to have to move it elsewhere. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. It is nasty, to say the least, in Australia, and it is getting uglier and uglier when it comes to the massive fire that is ravaging much of Australia right now.
We are getting some better weather here today. The temperature has dropped a full 30 degrees here, and we even saw rain showers at one point. But driving down the highway, there are still fires on either side of the road at some points, and firefighters here tell me that they still have a long way to go.
Yeah, an absolute long way to go, and it has been an uphill battle for a while. We've had 3 years of droughts, and remember, it's summertime there, right? So you're like, what? Yeah, it's summertime there. So it's the warm time of the year. They've had record heat in certain areas, and it has been very much a nasty situation, and it's not getting any better, and it just seems like to be going on and on and on. And when you think about it, think about not just this, but that is a country that relies so much on tourism and a lot of other things. It's its own giant, amazing, beautiful country. And for me, you look at the animals that are destroyed, the wildlife that's been damaged. It is just devastating. But then you look at the human toll and take away even the people that aren't affected directly through their houses burning down or some of those other things, the economic side.
This is the summer holiday here in Australia. This is a time where everybody goes to the beach. So for these coastal communities, not only are they scared and emotionally scarred right now from all of these fires that have lasted for weeks, but they're also taking a huge economic impact. From the shop owners here that are open tell us that they haven't sold anything, and this is supposed to be their busiest period.
Yeah, and so that's the trickle-down effect of something like this. And it's just been, I was seeing, who is it, Crocodile Hunters kids, is it Bindi? Is that her name? Bindi Irwin? And they've rescued, they say, 90,000 animals, but they fear they've lost 3 million plus. Not just things like kangaroos and koalas, because we think of stuff like that, but, other things. For me, I look at the reptiles and stuff, all these things that are lost that are vital for nature there and the ecosystem. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
A lot of young people are legitimately concerned about World War III. What do you have to say to the young people?
They shouldn't have to worry about it, because I think they're all going to get a note from their doctor that says they have some lactose intolerant or gluten allergy, and they can't fight without their service pet, so they're never going to have to go to the front line.
Somebody said to me, would you go? I said, well, I'm 49. If they'll have me and there was a situation like that, I'd go. Right? I would. I don't guarantee that I'll be any good. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I think I'll be all right. Right? But, yeah, if you had to, it's not going to happen, though. Right? It's not going to happen. And here's the other thing. People who are freaking out, the World War III is coming. Because we have a lot of millennials that work around here, and they're terrified. They were looking up conscription. They don't even know what that is. Isn't that when you get medicine? Is that when the doctor writes you something? Is that a conscription? No, you idiot. It's a prescription. Because they were looking around. And I just laughed. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. It's just not. It's not. Just settle down. It isn't going to happen. It isn't. None of that is going to happen. We're not going to World War III, right? It's just not. That's not happening. But we bombed, the general and Sonali, and we blew him up, and he's all blowed up, and they're mad, and we're apologizing, but we don't think it's enough. First of all, they've already come out and said, well, we're going to attack military, and Trump's like, well, we're going to bomb your historical sites, which is a mistake. Stop it. Good God. Get your head out your butt. That's a head out your butt thing. I'll say that there to you, right? Because then you piss off the entire Muslim world. We can talk about that. But they're going to go after military. They're going to try to hack us, which they've been doing anyways. So now we're like, oh, I guess we should, like totally upgrade our Norton or whatever they have. So if I got Norton antivirus. But the whole thought process is they're going to go after our military in certain areas. We're going to beefed up and ready to, to roll and more aware. But we're not going to World War III. So people, it's going to be a nuclear war. It's hard to have a nuclear war when the other side doesn't have nuclear stuff. Like, they are lacking it. So it's going to be all right. You're going to be fine. Just take a deep breath and don't worry.
People are getting notes online to smoke pot while riding their dog through an airport. You don't think they'd get a note from a doctor that says they couldn't go fight on the front lines? We're at a point now. Do you know a 19-year-old that could, fix a bayonet to a M16 and charge at another guy? I mean, we're not there. I got nephews. These guys are sleeping on a beanbag right now. They're not fighting.
And it's funny because I was talking to producer Anthony. He was talking about his nephews. And I feel like he says, look, one of my nephews is a cop and the other one couldn't lift 10 pounds. Right? My little brother, God bless him, I love him. First of all, they wouldn't take him. And he'd be more than willing to go. Right? Like, he'd go. But they wouldn't take him after his 7 concussions. And his 4 fractured knees, and hence the reason, my little brother was on his way to the NHL and has now stopped playing because but he'd go. But the reality, it's just not going to happen. And yeah, to a point, if I had to go, if they came to us, remember the British in World War II, they'd run out of men. And so they had the home guard. They're like, look, here's the deal. We're going to put together an army of people that are just people. Right? We don't have enough weapons. So whatever you got, we're going to use. We got some weapons, and we got other ones who don't. And we're going to do what we have to do, and this is the way it's going to be. And they were ready. There's a great sitcom over there called Dad's Army. It's a bunch of old guys that were basically drafted in. But they were ready to go. If that was to happen, trust me, there's enough. You guys can all sit there and relax. This was hilarious. This just shows you the differing world. And I was talking about it over the weekend because of my son. So over the holidays, I got him, I bought him a PlayStation. Right? He was super excited, right? And he got this is my son, right? He got Lego Star Wars. He also got Rocket League, which if you guys haven't played Rocket League, super fun. It's like soccer with Jeeps, and it's a lot of fun. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I don't think I touched the ball once, but I had a good time. But he also got Fortnite, right? So he's excited about that. I was talking to his mom in this world of technology, right? His mom's like, well, I don't want him to have this. I'm like, this is the world they live in, right? This generation, this is their world. This is what it is, right? Our generation, we had a little bit of this. We had Atari, right? What came after Atari? Was it Sega that came after Atari, Phil, or was it Nintendo?
Probably Nintendo.
Yeah. So, we had and that was our world, right? And then we had quarters. My son still laughs at the fact that we used to put quarters in a machine, right? They're like, what? Yeah, we used to put quarters in a machine. Like, no, wait, no, we did. It was right in the machine. And then we'd stack them on. Remember that? We used to stack them? All like backgammon style? You stack them up there? Like, that one's mine. 1978, that one's mine. That's the world they live in. It's a totally different world, right? Our world's completely different today than what it once was. And as we talk about this, I was reading a great study. If you guys have, there's a place it's like it's study.org, wherever they do all these studies for, everything. And so I'm reading this article that 2 out of 5 people inside of their house can't do anything without Google as far as fixing the house, right? So if they want to clear their toilet, they have to Google it. And when you look at the breakdown of ages, that's the thing that was so amazing. the breakdown of ages was really interesting in the sense that the older generation could do all of these things. It was really amazing, all the things that they could do, right? When you look at it, it's like 85% of them can do it without anything. They know how to do those things. I mean, there's kids out there that have no idea how to change a tire. That is foreign to them. That is foreign. They're like, whoa. But at the same time, there's kids who are 13, 10, 11, 12, 8, 9. They know how to code. They know how to do things that we couldn't even think about doing, right? It's just a different world. It is. It is a different world. And that's the great world that we live in now, is we have the older generation that fought in Vietnam, or some people fought in Korea, and there's even an older generation that did fight in World War II. And then we've got this other generation that did the first Gulf War. And then we've had this younger generation that did some of the, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And then you've got another generation of millennial Zs and the millennials and Gen Z and all this stuff that, no, they don't know how to put up drywall. They couldn't clear your toilet. They can code, though, and build you a computer out of nothing, right? They can do all of these things that we just still struggle with, some people. Like my mom's terrified of the ATM. It's like, it's witchcraft. What kind of sorcery is this? A wall giving you money. My God. Speaking of the millennial generation, have you heard of Sunday scaries? Yeah, that is something that's real. Sunday scaries are, and it's a big thing for the millennial and the Gen Z world, where they're and I think everybody has had this, right? Where Sunday night rolls around, right? And you hate your job. You absolutely hate your job. Like, there's nothing about your job that you like. Right? You hate the people you work with. You hate the fact that you're trapped in there and you are literally living and working for the weekend. You are, that Loverboy song is everything you've ever dreamed of. And about 4 p.m. on Sunday, especially this time of year, sun starts to go down. Kids aren't playing on the street that much. You're starting to get a little queasy. So here's what they call Sunday scaries. You're not passionate about your work. Some people, that is. You're in a dull job. You hate it. Toxic work environment. Huge. Overwhelmed with your workload. Yeah. You feel underappreciated, or you're bored. But the reality is, it's the toxic work environment and the overwhelmed your workload is the big thing that crushes people. It does. But millennials and Gen Z are struggling with it huge. Massive. And other generations, they struggled with it, but they shut up about it, right? Right? It's a check, you go to work, you do your thing, it sucks. This generation is struggling big time because for a lot of this generation, what haven't they done? They've not overcome certain things or been forced to deal with stuff that they didn't like because mom and dad, who did deal with that crap, decided to fight the battles for them. And maybe that tough love that they probably should have shown them at certain times, they didn't. And now it's, ugh. How do you beat these Sunday scaries? Change your mindset, right? It's one of the things. Practice the proximity principle, says one person, right? So they advise people to find a new job. It's not always because the company they work for is a bad one, but because they're not working in their sweet spot, the things they like to do. Or it's also one of those situations where they just may hate their job or, whatever it is. But, again, it's not about the companies always being bad. But you can change it, right? You can. But, man, I've worked at a couple companies. I'm sure you have too, Phil. But I worked at a company one time when I was first in the brokerage industry and I was learning the ropes where that was real. Like, it was real. It was like I hated Monday morning. I did. I lived for my job. I enjoyed my vacation, and I was ready to come back. Like, super excited to come back. Like, I could not sleep. I was like, last night, like, this is my Disneyland. It's awesome. I love it. I always tell you, man, we get to do all kinds of stuff. We get to meet all kinds of people. We get to do all these crazy things. And I bust my butt. I work 16 plus hours a day. A lot of times. I go home at night. It's not over. My producers, let me tell you something. They work their butts off. We must have text 50 plus 100 times, emails back and forth on the off time. We work hard and we're blessed. And I put in a lot of time and sacrificed. But man, I had a couple of those jobs where it's like, oh, sweet mother of God, no. You're like, maybe I'll get into an accident on the way to work. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Let me tell you something, guys. It is a new year. We're rolling into it. You're looking around and you're doing little things to try to make those resolutions, which I tell you should change the goals, better. And one of those is looking out for yourself. Heart health in particular. That's where Super Beats comes in. These soft chews I have are amazing. I can't keep them in my office. Everybody comes over and they take them and they love them and they're amazing. Super Beats Soft Chews comes with a new breakthrough ingredient. Grapeseed extract supports normal blood pressure, circulation, and natural energy to your body. I usually take a couple before I go play and work out during the day. It is amazing. It truly, truly is. It is incredible. And I'm telling you guys right now, this is one of those little things that you can do that will go a long way, especially when it comes to your health. Make those small changes for big wins. Super Beats is one of them. How do you do it? Well, it's simple. Boost your heart health easily with on-the-go Super Beats Soft Chews. I want you to check them out for yourself. Go to superbeatsradio.com/Chad. When you buy 2 bags, they throw a third one in for free. That's superbeatsradio.com/Chad. superbeatsradio.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
It's the last time, who cares?
Ricky Gervais may not have cared, but the Golden Globes ratings were pretty solid, down just 2% from last year. 18.3 million people watched Ricky Gervais host in the movie 1917 Win Sunday night on NBC. And while the ratings were pretty steady, especially considering recent slides for other award shows, that's still an 8-year low for the Golden Globes. And in the demo important to advertisers 18 to 49-year-olds, the show was down 10% over last year.
Let me tell you why, though, that it didn't crash the way that other shows have crashed. Because some people tuned in early to watch the monologue to see if he was going to hammer all of those people. The rich, elite people. The people that what? Right? Tell you how to live your lives and do it in a hypocritical way. He was brutal last night. He was brutal, and he's totally fine. I mean, all of us are, we're all hypocritical. All of us. Everybody's hypocritical, right? If you're a parent, you're hypocritical. Don't lie. What do? You totally lie to your kids, right? That's parenting 101, is lying to your kids. You don't tell them big lies, but you tell them little lies, right? Little things here and there, right? You don't tell them certain things. So, yeah, we're all hypocrites. Like me, totally. But people enjoyed that, right? And I keep trying to tell my friends who can't stand Trump why Trump is as popular as he is has zero to do with so much that they think, oh, it's his it's not. Nobody cares about his policies. They like the way he talks back to the other side. That's it. That crowd that's out there, right? The Michael Moores of the world and all. He likes the way that he goes at them. He does. It to them, it just, they like it, right? That's part of it. That's absolutely a huge part of it. And that's why some people turned in last night. I didn't even know it was on. Somebody tweets at me. He's like, are you going to watch it? I didn't even know it was on. I was watching a football game. And then I was doing some other stuff. I went for a walk, just enjoying the beautiful weather and everything. And I get back and I was like, after the football game, I was like, oh, this is on. And so I watched a few minutes at the end of his roast, and that's what it was. And then I moved on. I'm like, I'm going to watch something else. And I did. And I absolutely did. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. CES, Consumer Electronics Show, is rocking and rolling right now. Lots of stuff.
Many of the gadgets and appliances being revealed here at CES have artificial intelligence in them, or AI. LG unveiling its new washing machines with AI that will know what kind of clothes you've put in and figure out the settings on its own. They say the machines will know using AI if you've put jeans in or a dress. No more guessing what setting.
So you think to yourself, is that better or worse? Right? Because it makes our life easier, that. And at the same time, does it dumb you down and make us lazier? Like people have Alexa. They've got like bidets and toilets now. Those are the big things too there that have Alexa in it. And they've got all of this stuff. And I was talking to somebody earlier today. And I said, I was talking to Gatos, and I said to him, I said, Larry, he's like, I love that Alexa. We were talking about this. And he goes, you can ask it anything. And I'm like, but does it make you smarter? Or does it make us lazier? Because rather than maybe doing the work to find something out, we just asked that. But artificial intelligence is here. It's not going anywhere. How do we live with it without allowing it to run our lives and rule our lives? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter and your Instagram. It's good to be back. Check out my new haircut. I got them all cut. That's what I tell everybody. I don't have any hair, is what I'm trying to say. You can check it out on the old Instagram as well. Check out thechadshow.com. Grab your podcast. We're available. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I want to suggest a different way for you to win. I want you to consider what would happen if you didn't do what Trump is expecting you to do. What if you didn't follow their script? What if you said, no, we're smarter than you. We actually believe in the things we say we believe in. We believe in our God and the Quran, and we are not going to use violence, and we are not going to kill because you kill. We're not going to respond with revenge.
That right there is Michael Moore, who just go. So you want them to win? Is that the goal? Let's just say they got everything they've ever wanted, right? What does your life look like, Michael? I joked over the weekend that some of these celebrities who are so insane that I thought Team America World Police was a puppet movie. I think it's a reality. I think it was prophecy. These people think that if by begging them, hey, you're trying to reason with a crocodile that's hungry. It doesn't care what you think. Being nice to it, they don't care. They don't. It's embarrassing. So you've had Kaepernick come out. You've had all of them, do the things that they do. And look, you should question our leaders across the board when they do certain things. You should absolutely question them. At the same time, I'm sitting here listening to some of these people and reading some of the stuff that they're saying. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, you do hate America and how it was built. You love the freedoms it provides you. You feel guilty about the way that we came about it. I mean, listen to some of this insanity that he talks about here.
You have done things and you've participated in things for whatever justification and reason that you may have or think you have. You have used violence. You used it in your revolution. So did we. We used violence in our revolution. We killed British. We killed them while they would just line up for us. We didn't even wait for them to get their guns ready. We would just kill them. Our neighbors, the Canadians, they didn't kill the British. They just, waited them out. They figured probably, they're going to leave sooner or later. It's freaking cold here. And they did. The British just left.
Is that why they left? Is that really why they left? We're just going to go. Is that why they left? Really? Because in many ways, they haven't left. Right? Still part of the Commonwealth. Oh, yeah. Again, they love everything that America provides them. Hates everything in a lot of ways that America stands for. I've said it all along. We've been bad actors too. 110%. You could question and should question our leaders. But get your head out your butt. Right? You had Rose McGowan who her tweet about 52% of us being held hostage by this dictator. You're like, wait, what? 52% of us are being held hostage? And if you didn't hear it, I will read it for you. Dear Iran, solid right there. The U.S. has disrespected your country, your flag, your people. 52% of us humbly apologize. We want peace with your nation. We're being held hostage by a terrorist regime. We do not know how to escape. Please do not kill us. Leave. It's okay to leave. Nobody's going to fault you. Don't come back, though, right? It's always my thing, right? I'm looking for ride or die, right? I'm looking for that. Again, you're trying to reason with a crocodile that's hungry. There's no reasoning. There's no rhyme. There's no logic. This is what it does. But you don't want to ride or die? Fantastic. Please. You've got $6-7 million. That's your net worth. You sold your house a little while ago. You got more than ample opportunity to move globally. You can go anywhere you want, right? You've got the one thing other countries will take, which is money. So you want to go somewhere? They're giving away houses in Italy for $1. You want to move there? Knock yourself out. By the way, not an amazing society when it comes to diversity. Just want to point that out. But there's other places. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. Again, crazy. She tried to explain her bizarre tweet.
I'm today's Dixie chick. I woke up. I stupidly looked at Twitter. I was going to the bathroom. And I'm like, what? And I had a flashback to being at the United Nations cafeteria with my friend who was a lawyer there for the UN. And it was the same day Colin Powell was delivering his fake WMD testimony at the UN. And I was like, you're just going to do it. Stop lying. Just do it. Here's the thing. I do not believe governments. I don't believe Iran's government. I don't believe American government.
So you don't believe in Iran's government. You don't believe in Americans. You don't believe in... It's fine. All right, great to have skepticism. Everybody should come at it with a skeptical eye. What are you guys doing? Especially at the WMDs. After the WMDs, you start asking yourself, should we even trust any of our people that work in intelligence and stuff like that? But that wasn't even about that. It was the way that you acted. And dear Iran, please don't kill us. He's evil and bad.
So I just thought I would do something a little strange and unusual. Why not? Didn't seem diplomacy work. Well, it was working, and then that got undone. And, bloodshed should be avoided if you can, I think, in general. And I kind of just thought, what if I take a really bizarre way around this? Very strange thought, I understand. But I also kind of thought 52% of us in this country didn't vote for Trump. So I'm going to guess at least 52% probably want peace.
I didn't vote for Trump. But he's my president. Soleimani was a bad actor, to say the least. At some point in time, you say to yourself, 52% didn't vote for him, but I'm not going to turn my back on my country or my president. And that's what I feel like these people are doing. It's not just them. It's a lot of other people. They have a profile. And they should feel. I mean, I saw people that you go look at some of their tweets and how they've supported her in the past turn on her fast. And that's where, if it was just the crazy Republicans or the Trump supporters, I don't think she would have ever come out and said anything. It was a lot of other people that are like, well, hold on a second. I don't like Trump, but what you're saying here is asinine, lady. Same thing with Michael Moore. Just my goodness me. You are such a clown. You are. Wow. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Impeachment. You remember that thing? It's still right here. What's going to happen? Going to be very interesting to see what takes place. Bolton's come out and said, hey, not saying I will, not saying I won't. If I had an RSVP and it looked like a subpoena, right, which is what? State flag of Alaska, I would. Oh, Chad, you're wrong. Well, I always feel like people go up there, right? You ever watch those shows? People on the boats? You think to yourself, what are you running from? It's beautiful, too. The most beautiful state I've ever been in. Cold, yes, but just gorgeous. Some interesting characters go there. I'm just putting it out there. But Bolton's like, if you guys gave me an RSVP, I would show. I don't want to, but I would.
If she continues to refuse to send the articles as required by the Constitution, I would work with Senator McConnell to change the rules of the Senate so we could start the trial without her if necessary. What she's doing is bad for the country. It's bad for the Senate. It denies the president his day in court. The founders never envisioned you'd have a speaker do something like this. It's not going to happen, so I hope she sends them over soon so we can get on with the trial.
Yeah, I think she's holding back because now there's an opportunity for Nancy potentially and everybody to subpoena Bolton and get him in and either add to what they have or strengthen the things that they have. One thing's for sure, it isn't changing, right? You're not going to get Mitch McConnell say, no, we're going to do everything you guys want, because he looks over and he says, hey, what did you guys do? And did you play the game straight and fair? You had your opportunity. You ran with your opportunity. You took what you did. That's what anybody would have done in the position that you were in with the way that you handled it. Now, here we are, and it's our turn, and you want us to play it the way that you didn't. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program. Check out the Instagram as well. Raycons. So my son, as Raycon's on the way, and he's uber excited. And I was laughing about, I saw so many, like my little brother got these cheesy, you know, they get these the headphones and all this stuff, and they all think it's cool and hip and all of the, oh my God, look at all this. And because they like the name. And then, so I tried a couple of the quote unquote big name ones. They're just, you know, I mean, I always say, look, it's the $9.99 and the $300 ones in a lot of ways are being made in the same place, and you're paying for a name on it. The reality is, you know, it's how is it built? What's it meant for? Raycons are meant for one thing, and that's to listen, right? They're not meant to be a stylish Uber fashion statement in the sense that it matches this phone. No, they're meant in so many ways to be exactly what they are, which is things to listen to. Perfect. The best earbuds around. You are going to love, love, love these. Now's your chance. Big time. Get a hold of them. You're going to love them. The E25's incredible. 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, more compact design. They do look awesome and stylish. And they've got that noise isolating fit, which is great, because when I was driving them with the kids, right, taking my brother and my son home, talking to people, you know what's awesome is all that I can hear is the other person on the other side. And that's why I love them. Your chance. Get them now. Save yourself big time, 15% off. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad, buyraycon.com/Chad, buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Take a Fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? All kinds of stuff is trending. At least World War III stopped trending. So thank God for that. I was laughing. I'm like, do you really think World War III's coming? Like, yes. I'm like, really? Oh, yeah, totally. Like, are you being serious now, Clark? Totally. Let's find out what's trending on the old Twitter. Hollywood hypocrites who are so pissed off, some of them, about Ricky Gervais last night and how he just came hard at all of them. Judge Judy, why? Because she endorsed Bloomberg today. She's trending. Iranians detest Soleimani. There's a lot of Iranians, by the way, here in America and globally who aren't in Iran who did not like this guy, who did not see him as a hero, who realized that this is one of those guys that was a big reason why they were excited to leave their homeland. And most people would rather be in their homeland, right? Most people would. But this guy was a bad guy. And there's a lot of them here that are very excited that he's gone. And Ted Nugent. Why is the Nuge trending? No, he is not dead. But a lot of people talking about what Nugent tweeted out about cutting their heads off years ago to today what George Lopez tweeted out. Because they're talking about the $80 million price on the head of Donald Trump. And he tweeted out, we'll do it for half that. So expect a knock at the door. Go over to the old Google. CES 2020 is trending big time, including the Prodigy 770 smart toilet bio bidet. That is so hilarious. Harvey Weinstein, again, he is not only starting a trial in New York, but he's also going to face charges of rape in Los Angeles and some other things. He's got some serious issues, and I don't think there's anything in any way he's going to talk his way out of all of these charges. I would not be surprised if this time next year he's in an orange jumpsuit. Tua Tagovailoa, Alabama quarterback, is trending big time. He just announced a little while ago he will be taking his talents to the NFL, so enjoy Miami, which is probably where you're headed. And Greta Thunberg. And the reason she is trending is because, if you guys didn't see, but Meatloaf came out and basically said she'd been brainwashed. Yeah, Meatloaf the singer. I'll do anything for you. Said that he feels bad for her, right? But she's been brainwashed. It's all a hoax, and he thinks that she's being used and that it's brainwashed. She's brainwashed, and she came out and addressed those issues today. And, she can't go a day without, and I've said it all along, look, brainwashed, whatever it is with Greta, and she, it's like one of those things, you talk about Greta Thunberg, and it just, people either get uber excited or they're just like, And, it's one of those things where you just sit there and you watch the reaction. But I've always felt that she's being used. And I think the kids nowadays, like they did with the guns here, right, it's one of those things where they feel like you can't say anything about kids, so we can use them. But the minute they become 18, it's like, it's not, they're adults now. So people firing at them, if you will, for lack of better terms, their opinions. It's you're now an adult. And I think right now she is, she's still a kid. And so people go after her, then, there's a visceral reaction to protect her. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Puts Iran in the driver's seat. Iran wins by just the fact that NATO and all the trainers are being kicked out.
That right there is Biden. You look at 2020. So we're less than a month away from Iowa, and you got New Hampshire right on its heels. It's a dead heat, pretty much a three-way tie, with Buttigieg, Sanders, and Biden. 7 of the last 9 presidential candidates have won Iowa. Right? I think the exception was Clinton. I think Dukakis didn't win, but that was 7 of the 9 presidential candidates on the Democratic side have won Iowa. It's important. So the excitement's with Bernie, but you have a much larger, quieter group, right? Biden's not going to move the needle. He's not going to put people in the arena. But there's more out there that when push comes to shove, I think are going to show up, right? And Buttigieg is kind of the unknown because you've got excitement around him, but you also have disdain. It's very interesting, right? Even me, like I'll say something good about him. I got somebody last week, I was listening to one of the best ofs. Says, his dad was a Marxist. You should do your homework, right? That's what your dad's like. That's what you're going to end up like, or something like that. It's like, my dad was a drug addict, alcoholic that died of an overdose. What does that have to do with anything? Right? I don't think he's a Marxist. Do I think he's liberal? Yes, I do. But geez, you're just, that's insane. Some people are just, my God. Then you go to New Hampshire, and Bernie's winning New Hampshire, right? The real test out of these, though, the big one is going to be South Carolina, right? I think that's where we get down to really 3 players. And the other wild card is Bloomberg. And I was telling the guys, so I'm watching the national championship semifinals, BCS, and I'm watching the NFL playoffs. And Bloomberg's everywhere. But Tom Steyer's running ads, and he's useless. Tom Steyer is so useless. I wouldn't get off a sinking boat if he said get off a sinking boat. There is nothing about him that says he's presidential, right? And he is such a one-trick pony when it comes to Trump. How much he has a hatred and disdain for Trump. It's amazing. But the other one, like I said, the wild card is, can Bloomberg make it uncomfortable for them to potentially have a contested convention? Meaning you don't have an overall winner. There's a plurality either there where you've got people, you may have leaders, but it's not enough to push them over. So they're going to go there and wheel and deal behind the closed doors and do this, that, and the other. That is a huge possibility. But I just think one pulls away, and I think if Biden has the chance, and I don't think Bernie's going anywhere, to make it very interesting, to really separate by the time we get to South Carolina and then beyond. And for the first time ever, again, that Super Tuesday is going to be massive because you're going to have California, all these other big states in play. California's one of those states that's, they were at the end. It's like, by the time it got to them, it was kind of a foregone conclusion. So that's going to be huge because what happens? Because Biden doesn't play well there. Uber progressive. They're going to go with a Bernie or a Warren. So can he get so far ahead that they feel like, well, we're going to have to go with him? It's possible. I don't know. And the other thing, too, when I was there was a great article about and study that shows that looks play a massive role. Looks play a huge role. It's one of the things I think going against the likes of, now Bernie's interesting because he's got that energy that a lot of the other ones don't. But he's also very much a one-trick pony. But he's got that energy and but there is a certain sense of, standing. Think about the other world leaders that are out there. Think about the things. Think about Tom Steyer. Looking across at Khomeini, Putin, Bashar al-Assad, right? Kim Jong-un, or any of these. Just think about some of those things. Looks have a huge part to play in a lot of these. Does that person carry with them an air of this aura around them where they come in and there's they look and they just feel like they're confident? Like, I don't, that's something to take into, it's one thing to get everybody riled and excited. Oh my God, free this, free that. And we're going to have, but as much as I love Andrew Yang and his he's just an interesting character. And I think he's very smart. The reality is, what's your answer for some of these things here, Andrew, right? When you look across and you see despots of the world, when you see these awful human beings that, we could talk about how awful America is, but we're talking about real genocide kind of folk. How you handle that? I don't see you, you're going to offer them a dividend, right? Like, these are some of the things that there's just a certain aura about them that you have to feel. And that's why it's vitally important. I do. Like Marianne Williamson, please. Right? Outside of the greatest answer in the history of the worst answers, right? Remember Marianne Williamson and her insane, just crazy when they asked her about nuclear? God, that was, in fact, it's so amazing. Let's just hear some of this stuff with her. She's just, oh.
Ms. Williamson, thank you for taking my question. My name is Emily Berry, and I'm a student from the University of Maryland College Park. I'm studying government and politics and economics. So you say that in your environmental crisis plan that you want the United States to stop all use of nuclear energy.
So she wants to stop all use of nuclear energy.
What is wrong with that? If something goes wrong with nuclear energy.
Now think about her sitting across the way from, and she doesn't have a chance. Her and I have the same chance to be president of the United States. But think about, there are 40 million people that would probably vote for her against Trump. But think about, just for a second, sitting across from the pooter or some of these other not so friendly folk who would like to do all kinds of things, would take advantage of us, and you get this answer. This is about nuclear energy.
I don't think people have really stopped to take in the horror. See, we need an integrated politics. We need to go beyond hard data. We need to go beyond just thinking about the facts. I want you to think about this with your hearts. Something goes wrong there. What are we even talking about?
Greatest. What are we even talking about? Right? So there is something to that, right? I don't care what anybody says, right? Same thing at work, right? There are just certain people that have that thing. I love Colin Cowherd, and he used to say, there's that look that quarterbacks have. Why? Well, they're young, they're growing up, right? They're the good-looking kid. Everybody kind of defers to him at first because why? Well, they're kind of good looking, so people start to hang around them a little bit more. They give them a little bit more leeway and cachet. They have that confidence. They build it up, and there's that quarterback good looks kind of thing, right? And you go and you look at somebody who looks like Tom Brady, right? Like, you'd follow him. Man, he's going to lead us to victory. Didn't happen this weekend, but he's also 107. But there's just something about a certain thing. And that's what I say. I look across there, and I do think that I just like, who on that stage? Biden has a look. He's older, he's distinguished, but he still has a politician. Looks like he could be a hard-ass grandpa if needed to be. Right? Bernie, gotta be honest, he's going to go to some of these countries and like, why is Doc Adams here from 78.5 gigawatts? Some of that stuff is real. Right, Elizabeth? Guys, let me tell you about No. Klobuchar, sorry. Right? Gabby has a look, right? You know, there's a few that have that kind of thing. Bloomberg has that. But I think it does matter. I do. I absolutely think it matters in a big way. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. God. Marianne Williamson. What are we even talking about? People are like, I have no idea. It's a bummer she's not on the stage, right? Because I think only 5 have qualified. And the thing is, when you get less, right, and this is one of those things for qualifying, and next Tuesday is the debate, when there's less of the people on the stage, you're more exposed, right? It's like backup quarterbacks, right? When you get a small sample size of them, you're like, oh, that guy was pretty good. Or baseball, you know, a guy comes in, he throws a couple innings, people are like, oh, but then they're like, well, hold on a sec. Second time through, they're exposed as the batters come through the second time, and they've seen them, right? It's that same thing. The more there's opportunity for them to talk, rarely does it end up well. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. My Pillow. You know what's great? So I was home, and I got to sleep on my stuff, which I loved. I got to sleep on my stuff. My Pillow mattress pad. So you got this thing, the mattress topper thing. Right? Got to use my towels from My Pillow. Got all of that stuff, and it was incredible. I was super, super excited to be home and just to relax and enjoy what I have. It was just great because I travel so much. Right now, they got amazing soft towels. They work. It was great. I sat out in my jacuzzi last night, right there on the patio. Got out, only have one. Amazing. Super absorbent, extra soft. So this is what your choices are. They have 5 different color choices, right? You get 30 by 56 bath towels. They're big. 16 by 30 hand towels, washcloths as well. Made in the USA, 100% U.S. cotton. 60-day money-back guarantee. What's that mean? You get 60 days. You don't like it? You get your money back. You're going to love it, right? Absolutely incredible. No cheap softeners, no fillers, and they've got a limited time special introductory offer. How do you get it? Simple. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the new radio listener special, get 30% off these amazing towels, enter promo code Benson, or call 800-983-4975 for these amazing radio specials. Enter promo code Benson when you go to MyPillow.com, MyPillow.com, promo code Benson, Chad Benson Show.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Will there be allies of the U.S. in this ongoing conflict?
You're asking the question of the hour, because without a maximum diplomacy campaign, and that's what I'm calling it, to accompany the maximum pressure campaign, I don't think that the Trump administration can be successful in realizing whatever objectives it has in Iran and Iraq and the greater Middle East, because there's so many important actors. It's really time for all hands on deck.
Yeah, but what does that look like? All right, so we killed Soleimani, who was a very bad actor. You can, do I think it was a great move? I don't know what the intelligence is. I'd like to have some comfort and some people that are, quote, maybe on the other side of it who say, all right, you know what, we did get some intelligence, and this intelligence did point to, there's no doubt he's got blood of Americans all over. I mean, he's bloodstained of just about every country in the Middle East, every ethnic group, they've all felt his wrath and Iran's wrath. They're the largest state sponsor of terror, and they have proxy wars all over the globe. So, yes, I mean, he was a bad dude. In saying that, was this the right move? Time's going to tell. Are we headed to World War III? No, that's not going to happen, right? The powers that be in Iran know that it would end quickly. Somebody said, we're going to go to nuclear war. I said, it's hard to go to nuclear war when you're the only one with a nuclear bomb. right? We may take the nuclear war to them, which we won't do. And they're talking about their, the reprisal that they're going to bring is going to be military, like for like. They don't want to kill a bunch of innocent civilians, which then pisses off people that are kind of in their camp saying this is bad. I can't believe we did this, yada, yada, yada. They don't want that, right? Because, oh, my God, now you went and killed a bunch of innocent people who didn't do anything. Like Soleimani at least was a military operative and a general and beloved. Here's the thing. People say, well, he's beloved in his country. Yeah, he is. But not as much as people would like to think, right? And Iran's got a lot of issues that go beyond a lot of stuff that, we sit here and talk about us and them and the battle there. They've got a lot of internal issues that are real. Very real. You've got a large segment of a younger population. Think about this. Their population's very young. They fought a long, protracted war that killed many of their young people, and now they've replenished themselves, and they would like to know some freedom. Right? You've got an older generation that thought this was going to be a great idea. Let's get rid of Shah. Shah's a bad dude. He's horrible. Hangs out with the Western people. He's living a lifestyle. He's living off the people, only to find out what you brought in afterwards. No. So they've got their own internal strife and their own issues. In saying that, we're not going to World War III. It's not happening. It's not. All right, the hyperbole of, oh my God, this is it. They're going to come after us and destroy us. Pfft, slow your roll. If there's anything that's going to happen, cyber attacks, they're talking about that. That's happening as we speak. In saying even more so, they're going to attack U.S. installations all over the globe with their proxy militia fighters that they fund. And they've talked about coming after Israel. But one thing Soleimani realized a long time ago is be warned when you come after them. Just be warned, because they will drop kick you.
So if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and
He hammered him, and he's getting hammered. Ricky Gervais last night, Golden Globes. I couldn't even tell you who won anything. I think the 1917 won a ton. That's going to be opening up more theaters in the coming weeks. I can't wait to see that. I know Fleabag won something. And then I believe Joaquin Phoenix won for Joker. But all anybody's talking about is the roasting that Ricky Gervais gave the Hollywood elites last night. And I think he's loving every second of it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Check out the Instagram of what? Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and
Happy 2020. I thought it was funny. I watched the monologue. I thought it was funny. I saw a little bit of it last night, more than I normally see, and I think the only reason was I was doing other things, and the football game was on. Then the football game was over, and I'm like, oh, this is on. The Golden Globes. I didn't even know it was on. That's because I completely detached. To be honest with you, and this is Not trying to be mean. Again, I joke about those awards, but you know what? Who doesn't like accolades? But the reality is, I really checked out. Man, I took a week and a half off, and I checked out. Checked out. I didn't even read anything about Soleimani until the 2 days afterwards. I was over it. I'm like, God, 2020 is already here. The fights are going to still be going. World War III, shut up. Shut up. For those of you, World War III, shut up. I watched a bit of it last night, though, and I like what he had to say there. I thought it was hilarious. It was real. So Ellen Pompeo says, I am smarter and better looking. I'm like, slow your roll. I'll give you the better looking. The smarter thing than Mike Pompeo, slow your roll, sister, right? Slow your roll. Hope you had a good time off. So, interesting to say the least. We blew up a really, really, really bad guy.
Soleimani was plotting imminent and sinister attacks on American diplomats and military personnel, but we caught him in the act and terminated him. Under my leadership, America's policy is unambiguous to terrorists who harm or intend to harm any American. We will find you. We will eliminate you. We will always protect our diplomats, service members, all Americans, and our allies.
Yeah, big shot right there. That was the Benghazi thing. I mean, so what you have here is a guy who was arguably the second most powerful man in the Middle East, right? That's what so many people talk about with this guy. He's got blood on his hands from just about every country there. And yes, he's got American blood on his hands. He was a bad dude. Somebody says, Chad, I can't believe Trump did this. This guy fought ISIS. This guy also helped create ISIS, right? He props up puppet regimes in trying to spread the tentacles of Iran throughout the Middle East. He was a bad dude. Doesn't mean it was a good move. That remains to be seen, right? That remains to be seen. I think it's a push. It's the insanity of people like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. World War III. You've got people out there who are running around begging Iran not to come after us. Please don't hurt us. Don't. Right? And the Rose McGowan thing was asinine, to say the least, talking about how we're, 52% of America is being held hostage by a dictator in this terrorist regime. You can leave whenever you want. Your net worth $6 million. You can leave whenever you want. You can go buy a house in Canada, right? You can go buy a house in Mexico. You can go buy a house in Tehran, right? You can leave whenever you want. I got no problem with that. We should question our leaders. Absolutely. Absolutely question our leaders. And I didn't have a problem questioning. It's the reaction, right? The way that some people talk about this guy, the way that some, Democrats, just the way that they acted was just insane. He was a bad dude. He was a bad actor. The person that's coming out of his shadows, the person that's going to basically take his position, this guy it's going to take a few years, potentially. This hurts them in more ways than one. A lot of people, I was reading a ton this weekend about it, and he's just a very interesting character, right? This guy fought hard against Iraq, then is there helping lead all kinds of little groups and militias across the country because you've got, again, you got the Shiites and the Muslims. You got the Shiites and you got the Houthis. You've got all of these things and the Sunnis and they're trying to spread their tentacles everywhere. Propped up Bashar al-Assad. He's done a lot of different things from Hezbollah and many other groups as they've spread their tentacles. And he's a massive figure there. He is a rock star there. He is. In saying that, he's also a really bad dude. He is a really bad dude. And, look, we should question, was it imminent? Was it real? Why was the guy there in Iraq who fought against Iraq for many years, who's helping lead a movement, and they want the Americans out of there. Trust us, I think we'd all like to be out there. Is there anybody who wants to be in there? I know why we have our footprint, if you will, all over there. It was an ugly situation. Would I have done it? Don't know. I don't know what information they got. That remains to be seen. Well, they should have said something. They probably should have talked to the Gang of Eight, although the Gang of Eight can't keep their mouth shut. So I understand certain things as well. Well, we should have discussed it. He's leaving the country. What if we were targeting somebody else and he happened to be in the car? What then? It's not a great situation, right? But it's not the worst situation. We're not going to war. The insanity of people. We're going to go to war. This is it. This is it. We're going to go to war.
I want to make a request, and I do this with, again, all sense of humility and respect and understanding that I, as an American citizen, am the last one that really anybody should listen to in your country or around the world considering our behavior. Not just this, you know all the other things we've done to you. I would like to ask you, as much as you have the right to, I would like to ask you, the leadership of the country of Iran, to not respond with violence against the United States for what the United States has done to you this week.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, settle your ass down for the love of good God. I would just like to ask you, please don't kill us all. Just please, with the might of the Republic of Iran, just please don't kill. Shut up. Shut up. But the way that people acted, God, it's amazing. Oh, is $80 million on his head, right? George Lopez tweeted out today, we'll do it for half as much. You can expect a knock, George. And you should get one. I've never seen so many people just go, and look, you have every right to come out and talk about, I don't know if I agree with what happened. He's not a good guy. But does this make us safer? Was this the right thing to do? Was this the wrong thing to do? Time will tell. In saying that, time's going to tell. They're not going, they attack us all the time. Cyber warfare. They've been doing it. Right? The little proxy wars and the militias that attack all the time. And they're stressing that this was a military strike, so it will be military that will be attacked. We're on high alert. There's no simple answer in this. I was just embarrassed by the way so many people acted and begged for forgiveness. And I just sat there and I shook my head and I thought to myself, my God, the apologist. Again, you're free to leave, right? You're free to leave. Love the opinions that people have. And at the same time, we can question our leaders. But it's the way that things are framed and the disdain you have for this president. That to me was embarrassing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Love hearing from every single one of you. Today, kids, is the day as they start. Yes, are you ready for this? The Weinstein case. Oh, no. Yeah. This is it. This is big time here. This. You know, last night, the jokes, the Me Too, all that stuff, the Weinstein thing was they hit Epstein and Weinstein the whole 9 yards. But this is going to say a lot moving forward with Weinstein. And you've got a ton of people coming out there to talk about this and what's potentially going to happen with him and what might not happen. And it's getting underway.
110 potential jurors will be brought in for questioning beginning Tuesday. Once the jury is seated, prosecutors plan to show 7 photographs of Harvey Weinstein taken by a witness. It wasn't immediately clear what those photos show, but Assistant District Attorney Jonah Luzzi said it's important for jurors to see them. They're apparently explicit because prosecutors went out of their way to say they wouldn't unduly humiliate Harvey Weinstein. The defense questioned whether there was a way to be delicate. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, Criminal Court, New York.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big thing is he going to get a fair trial is the way that the defense is going to go about it. Is he going to get a fair trial? Because everybody knows who he is. He's on the front page of everything. And in the cities that these these cases are being tried coming up, everybody knows him, and chances are everybody's got an opinion about him, right? We joke about it all the time. He's a scumbag. Absolutely scumbag. Right? You have an opinion? Well, you got to hear the stuff out. The average person is already made up their mind. So that's where they're going to go, and they're going to say this the whole time. And they're just waiting for a conviction, and then boom, we're going to go in and we're going to appeal it, and we found out that this juror said this, and boom. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter. Hope you had a good time off. I had amazing, enjoyable. Like I said, I watched football, watched more football, relaxed more, and I stayed away from all of this stuff. Just because, you know what, 2020's here. I mean, we got a debate coming up. We've got our first, 2 primaries or caucuses in Iowa and New Hampshire coming up in less than a month. I just wanted to take a breather, and it was just so worth it. It really was. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens, fastest growing over 50 organization in the country. And they're incredible. They really are. They're out there working on your behalf for so many things. Common sense immigration reform, Medicare reform, Social Security reform, making sure things are solvent, making sure things are there for you because you've paid into them. You've worked hard for them. They should be. On top of that, they got huge benefits. Retail, restaurant, hotel discounts, and so much more. And right now, 2020 is here. Opportunity for you to join for free. The price is right, kids. Free is the price. How do you do it? Simple. You go to amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad. Or call 888-355-1617. That's 888-355-1617. It's 1 year. It's free. It's on me. Join today. amac.us/Chad. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I can't take it anymore!
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
Yes, of course, the big super thin TVs are here at this year's CES, but the headlines are coming from the gadgets. Many of them have to do with health, like the smart diapers that will tell you when your baby is wet.
We've been working on this for about 3 years now.
Or the smart pajamas to let you know when an elderly member of the family may need help.
All you have to do is put it on, and it can measure heart rate, respiration, movement, body temperature, and also fall detection.
And then there are the smart shower heads and toilets that have Alexa built in.
Yeah, because you need that. Hey, Alexa, give me some toilet paper. Oh, you can't? That sucks. Some neat stuff. I mean, CES, Consumer Electronics Show, is amazing. And they've got the 8K TV. And, we still don't have a lot of stuff in 4K the way you would think. And now we've got 8K, and there's nothing in 8K. There's 2 things in 8K, right? There's a telenovela, and I don't know. And I'm like, why would you, at this point, and some of the stuff, it's so clear. Have you ever seen it where you're watching television? You'll go through you go into one of those big box stores and they have all the TVs up and this one's in 4K. And you look at it and you're it doesn't look real anymore. It looks like they're just little people acting out something inside of a box. And that's kind of weird. I love it. The how clear stuff is now, but then you get to a point where it's I don't know if I love it that much. I don't know if I do, right? I'll stick with some of it, like sports. I've always liked the sports in 4K, but some of the television shows, I'm not a fan. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. If you guys haven't been paying attention, it is ugly, ugly, ugly in Australia right now.
Sky glowing orange, thick with dark smoke, and fire starts just popping up everywhere. You would stand in one place for 15 minutes and see 3, 4, 5 plumes of smoke from a fire start that just erupted out of nowhere. And the firefighters were just working nonstop against these relentless fires.
Yeah, and it is, it's crazy how big it is, and it's continuing to get bigger. Today, the temperatures have dropped a bit, but it's still going to continue to be ugly over and over and over again for the coming days, potentially weeks. It feels like Australia's been on fire for 3 years. They were talking about they've had a massive drought, and it is just continuing to grow, and it's getting closer to major cities, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
We are getting some better weather here today. The temperature has dropped a full 30 degrees here, and we even saw rain showers at one point. But driving down the highway, there are still fires on either side of the road at some points, and the firefighters here tell me that they still have a long way to go.
And they're talking about millions of animals that have died. And if you know anything about Australia, they've got a ton of animals and species. For me, it's like that's heaven on earth right there as far as the amount of lizards and certain things that they have over there. But they're talking about the deaths of tons of koala bears, the deaths of kangaroos, and so many different species of animals. And it is a horrific situation. I think we've sent a couple hundred firefighters over there. Some of them are going to help fight fires. Others are going to help with the logistics of things. But this is a natural disaster that is massive, that is going to take them a very long time economically, as well as the regrowth of the country to get back to. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. What did you think of some of the craziness when it came to some of these stars, if you will, and some of the stuff they say, but also some of the Democrats when it comes to Iran and the killing of this general? I'd like to hear from you. You can text the program, tweet at us as well, at Chad Benson Show. 'Tis the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist. So we were going to do an in memoriam this year, but when I saw the list of people that had died, it wasn't diverse enough. It was mostly white people. And I thought, nah, not on my watch.
Yeah. He hit him hard last night. And last week, he's been accused of being transphobic, and I still don't get the phobic thing, because you have a disagreement with somebody, or you believe marriage between a man and a woman, right? And people say you're homophobic. I'm not afraid for gay people, you would say, right? Right? I'm not like an arachnophobic. You're scared of spiders. A differing of opinion does not mean you're phobic to something. But he's been hit out over what took place with that firing a couple weeks ago, and then the tribunal in Britain about a woman who was basically talked about science and men and women, and she was let go because how dare you do that in this day and age? And you bring up science, you talk about this, and she was let go. And then J.K. Rowling, the Harry Potter author, came out and supported the woman. And it's insanity. And he was like, he went hard at all of those people of insanity. You can't have a conversation with people anymore. You just can't. So one thing I've noticed, I've got a couple friends who are very, very, very progressive, like uber. Like, they were with Bernie for years. And it's funny to watch what they tweet and text, me and stuff about, like, what took place in Iran, right? And they're part of that group of apologists. And I joke with one of them over the weekend. And I said, dude, why don't you go over there and see, right? Like, we're not talking about the Iranian people, right? We're talking about the leaders. We're talking about those things. Go over and see what would happen. Well, I don't want to do that because they're not. I mean, see, that's just it, right? Like, you don't want to do that because you realize exactly what that is and what they're about. The leaders. Again, I'm not talking about the Iranian people, person that's going to work every day. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about their leadership and where they would like to take the country. Let's be real. A good majority of that country would love to get away from their rule of law, become more modern. And at one time, they were modern. And compared to a lot of the Middle East, they're still very modern. But it's still one of those things where the vice is there always. And so much of it's about this president. The disdain of this president that so many people have. And somebody asked me today, why is it? He says, hey, my brother's really liberal. And he says, like, he talks about World War III and all this kind of stuff and just how much he hates. I said, it's a hatred of Trump. I get it. Like, you should question. Like, President Obama was the droner-in-chief. He was the deporter-in-chief, but he loved drones. He loved droning stuff all day. I was just telling the guys, you remember the wedding when he droned, right? He's droning all. I mean, it was almost like a video game. Well, it was different then. No, it's just, we're going to, if you don't like this president, you're going to figure everything out you can, no matter what he does, to fit in the narrative, in the box in your mind, how this should work with the way that you feel about the president. It's going to make you feel good. At the end of the day, he made the decision. Pompeo. Now, would I like to see some proof of some imminent? Yeah. Do I think that they were behind what took place at the embassy? Absolutely, I think he was. 110%. Because I don't think any of these things go on without them noticing and without them saying so, without them wink, wink, nudge, nudge, green light, and go, go, go. With all of that being said, we move to a different position. Because now as everybody's returned back to D.C., we forget one thing. There's still impeachment out there.
Well, we're not going to let Nancy Pelosi use the rules of the Senate to her advantage. This is dangerous for the presidency as an institution. They've impeached the president, but the Speaker of the House is holding the articles back, trying to extort from the majority leader of the Senate a trial to her liking. They're trying to hold these articles over the head of the president. I think the reason they're not sending them is because they're so weak and it's a pathetic case and they're looking to add something. So the sooner this trial is over, the better for the American people.
Now, is that adding something? John Bolton, former national security advisor, who's been very coy about the way he's like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to. Nah. Because they want to ask him, when you said that you don't want to be part of that drug deal or whatever this administration and Giuliani, I still think it's a Giuliani problem. When you said that, what did you mean? They want to get him there. And Bolton's been kind of like very evasive in a way where he's like, I don't want to talk, but if I had to, I would. But I'm not going to come in unless you send me an invitation, subpoena. I mean, I don't want to, but I cannot tell a lie. But I wouldn't. But if you invited me, I'd show up. I need to get a ruling, though, from the court, but I will show up if you guys ask me to. And by her holding back the articles at this point in time, if they did subpoena him and he did come in, then Schiff and everybody else could be back at it and see if maybe they need to add something to the articles or if it just strengthens what it is that they're going to throw out there. At the end of the day, it's still not changing anybody's mind. You know, you saw emails that came out over the last week or so. You've seen some other people inside the administration say certain things that, yes, it was directed by Trump. At the end of the day, it's not changing anybody else's mind. I saw Mitch McConnell say, look, you guys had your chance in the Senate. You had your play. It's now, in Congress, you guys had your opportunity. It's the Senate's turns now, and I run the Senate. But Bolton has been very coy because I think it's one of those things where we were talking about it before the show. It's like Hillary Clinton. Hillary would love to be president, but she wants them to come to her and say, you need to save the day, right? Bolton, I'm sure, has a lot of things he'd like to say. Yet at the end of the day, he doesn't want to wander in there and be seen as some sort of, evil person because, remember, he's still got to deal with these people. Remember, a lot of these people that are going to be voting to keep Trump and the party, he has a lot of friends. It could be ugly and uncomfortable for him. And a lot of people out there say, well, how personal is it? Because as we all know with Trump, a lot of it gets personal. And once it gets personal, you're like, It's boring now. I can't tell if you're mad at Trump because he's pissed you off or if this is something that's real. That's one of those things with Trump, and that's what everybody's going to say. Well, look what's happened now. You guys have made it personal, so how am I to take it serious anymore because you guys have made it so personal? I think it's a very fair thing, and that's where they're going to go. But Bolton's going to, maybe I'll be a part of this, maybe I won't. But you guys are going to have to invite me, but I'm not going to come. And he's going to be one of those people that shows up like, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. All right, let me tell you what I know. But he's not going to walk in there and offer that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Love hearing from every single one of you. Hope you had a good holiday. So about my son, so I have my little brother out here, and I bought him a bunch of stuff, little crazy stuff, right? I got him a scooter that's electric, because whenever I go down to San Diego, he loves to see those electric scooters that everybody rents. You can rent those things, and they go like 15 miles an hour. So I didn't get him one that goes 15 because his mom would freak out. I was like, oh my God. But I got him one that goes like 10 miles an hour. And it's insane because I got it home. And I thought, okay, this is cool. And it's like, oh, it takes 24 hours to charge. I'm like, what is in here? I could get a car that will take less time to charge. And it only goes for an hour. And I'm like, wow, I was not thrilled by that. But he loved it. And then I got him a PlayStation. And I got him Fortnite, right? Because that's what all the kids are playing. And I was talking to somebody yesterday at church, because his mom and I have talked about this in the past about, video games. And it's not about because my son's very much, if you guys listen to the show, you guys know Jack is super, he loves sports. He lives for sports. And when I was a kid, we had Atari. Now, our games were nowhere near as good as the games today, right? Like the games today, my son still, because when we go to this place by his house, we go to this cool arcade, and this is, and you'll appreciate this, Phil. So you got to pay to get in, and then you get you buy a card for an hour and you get unlimited play for an hour. He always laughs at me because I go straight back to, they've got like an 80s room. So they've got Joust and Frogger and Galaga and all that. So I go play that, and he laughs. And he's still amazed that, people put quarters down to do these kind of things. Oh, yeah, dude, totally. So I bought him these things, and his mom's like, well, he's going to get sucked doing these things. And I said, think about this. And I was talking yesterday at church, is these kids nowadays, this is the world they live in, right? These are the things that they talk about. And he was telling me this morning, he called me earlier this morning, he said, Dad, what's going to be so awesome? He goes, now I can talk about, all these things with my friends who all have PlayStations. They play Fortnite and Rocket League and all this kind of stuff. Rocket League's cool. And I said, yeah. And I said, and as I was trying to explain to her, it's like, this is the world. The world's going to get more technologically driven, not less. And socially, well, it hurts their, social. I said, it doesn't. It actually helps in so many ways, because he doesn't get to talk to all his friends about this because he doesn't play it. And he was so excited to go to school today and play it. And talk about his friends. I got it. I played it. He tells me last night, sends me a text like, hey, Dad, I got my first 3 kills. I'm like, oh, fantastic. As long as it's just on the video game, we're good. We're good. But, man, some of those games, I watch them. It takes forever to download. I'm like, I just missed I'm old school. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Wounded Paw, amazing, incredible organization. Last year, as everything closed up last year, I was talking to them, and I just seeing how they've changed so many lives, with our first responders, our veterans and their families, people that struggle with PTSD, people who have been struggling with so many different things in their lives. And it's just so amazing to see what they do, how they rescue these animals and take them from shelter dogs to service dogs, and see the lives change, both the animal as well as the people who get these. And they need your help, right? This is a forever thing, and as we talk about military and all the things that are going on, think about the people, the men and women who have served in our home and we're struggling right now. And you think to yourself, if I could do something, this is what you need to do. It's simple. It's easy. Their mission, as they say, is simple. connect our furry best friends with our nation's hero. You're saving a paw to save a life. Now is your chance to help. They take cash donations, but they also take cars, any unwanted vehicle. It's an amazing tax-deductible gift. You can take action today. Go to woundedpawproject.org. That's woundedpawproject.org. Or call 844-678-4PAW. That's 844-678-4729. Or woundedpawproject.org. Chad Benson Show.
No need to fear. We promise we won't give you a noogie and make you cry Russia, Russia, Russia.
Who is the fearless leader?
Pooey.
Pooey, pooey, and double pooey.
What is your language? This is a family show, remember?
Pooey to family too.
Nostrovia. This is Chad Benson.
I mean, Kevin Hart was fired from the Oscars because of some offensive tweets. Hello? Lucky for me, the Hollywood foreign press can barely speak English. And they've no idea what Twitter is. But tonight isn't just about the people in front of the camera. In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world. People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you.
He is coming. He's absolutely coming. Are you ready? Isn't it funny? Just watching the reaction last night of Ricky Gervais hammering people, that to me was hilarious. Because looking around the room, and good God, the look on Tom Hanks's face was, that right there was priceless. Just, he's making fun of us. How dare he? Why? That's the thing. If you can laugh at yourself, right? You can laugh at yourself. That is great. We should all laugh at ourselves more. It's okay to laugh at yourself. They take themselves so serious. It's amazing. It really is. Right? It is tremendous to watch what he did because he doesn't care. That's just it. I think last night was one of those things where Ricky Gervais goes on there. He thinks to himself, I'm going to make it so awful, so insane, so bad because I don't want to do this anymore. And you know who wants him back? The average person. They like it. They see this as a situation where he takes them down a notch, right? So you get the Michael Moores, you get all these people out there when he talked about, hey, nobody wants to hear your political crap. You don't know anything, and just take your award and shut the blank up. They love that. Right. That's why they love Trump, right? Because Trump says crap like that. He feels like, hey, Trump is my voice. He's taken down the elite. You watched last night. I bet you it's still, these award shows aren't what they used to be. But if any one of them, and these used to be the fun award shows, of all the award shows, this was always kind of the funnest because it's so casual. You're not sitting in an arena or an auditorium and everybody's in chairs. Everybody dresses up, but they're sitting at tables, they're having drinks, and they're getting served food, and they're, they're BSing, and it's very loose. But it's like everybody there last night was like that kid in school that struggles to read, and you didn't do your homework, and you're thinking to yourself, don't look. Because if he sees me, he may say something, and I don't want that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. So not only are there trials going on, apparently across the country with Harvey Weinstein, but now there may be a new one.
ABC News has learned Harvey Weinstein is charged in Los Angeles with rape and other sex crimes. The charges come as Weinstein is about to stand trial here in New York on rape and forcible sexual assault charges. The Los Angeles County District Attorney had started a special investigation into sex assault in the entertainment industry after the allegations against Weinstein first came into public view. Prosecutors had been looking at accusations from 8 women in L.A. and Beverly Hills.
Yeah, and some people are very excited about this, and as you should be. I mean, look, and he even mentioned last night at the Golden Globes, like, what about all those other women who essentially said, this is what I got to do. I'll do it. So he is, I don't think there's any doubt that this is going to end poorly for him. Does it end Epstein's way? I was thinking that last night. Does this end Epstein's way? Does this end? And if you saw that 60 Minutes thing last night, there's just far more questions. You know, the guy that found him's like, I've never been interviewed. It's like, okay, right. I think we can all agree that murder or killed himself, either way, there was a lot of inside stuff happening. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show.